feel like you live in a dystopia? Well, a lot more people might answer yes to that question at the moment compared to a few years ago. But for every bad period in human history, it feels as if a writer of the past has foreseen it in some way and used that to create the most chilling fictional genre of all. Fiction that has the potential to become tomorrow's reality. And that makes it perfect for cinematic adaptations years down the line. The world of dystopian literature begins in a very peculiar place, the island of Utopia, as created by Sir Thomas More. He manufactured the title from Greek terms meaning nowhere or no place. The island itself is set in a then recently discovered new world and has a strange social structure without private property and where privacy in any sense is outlawed. Therefore, bars or other places for private gatherings simply don't exist. The original Utopia could very well be the ultimate dystopia for many today, but one phrase from More's work would surely appeal. Anyone who campaigns for public office becomes disqualified for holding any office at all. If there's any author who made their name through dystopian fiction, it's H.G. Wells. In 1895, he published one of his most popular works, The Time Machine, in which his protagonist, known simply as the Time Traveller, ventures deep into a dystopian future where mankind has resorted to cannibalism. In 1899, he produced When the Sleeper Wakes, where a man arises from over 2 centuries of slumber into a futuristic London where the planet is ruled over by a powerful plutocracy. But, along with being a successful author, Wells was also a frequent commentator on political and social affairs at the time.
Mr. Wells, have you any solution for the very unhappy state of affairs that is facing the world today?
It seems to me that many things besides the pound are threatened with collapse. The financial credit system is not working today. We have increased the productivity of our economic organization so greatly that a smaller and smaller proportion of people can produce everything that we need. The consequence is that a larger and larger number of people are being forced out of employment and are unable to consume.
In 1933, during this era of the Great Depression, when Wells was interviewed, he released yet another dystopian work, The Shape of Things to Come. The shape of things is seldom so clear to those who live them. To most thoughtful men, it has generally seemed that theirs was an age of confusion. Wells would write the screenplay for the film adaptation that was released just 3 years after the novel.
There may be an air raid, but it is not likely to be a very serious one. You must be prepared for it. The danger will not be great. As soon as the danger is over, you will go down to all clear. The streets will be dangerous. Do not assemble in crowds. Keep indoors. Go home. Those who are far from home can take refuge in the underground railway. Go home. Go home. Go home. Get out of the square. Get out of the street. Go home. Get out of the land. Go to the window. The wet people, the wet blanket will go to the window.
The Shape of Things to Come deals with a future where humanity is plunged into a world war that lasts so long the combatants forget why they're even fighting. Of course, by the end of the 1930s, the deadliest war in human history would break out, which would last until 1945. H.G. Wells was possibly the most successful dystopian writer ever, many other authors of equal renown delved into the subject, but with less fanfare at the time. It was only long after their deaths that their work was finally appreciated. Mary Shelley wrote The Last Man in 1826. It was about a worldwide pandemic in the 21st century, perhaps a little too on the nose to read right now. At the time, it was critically panned and essentially forgotten in favour of her earlier work, Frankenstein. It was only in the 1960s that The Last Man started to be re-evaluated. Another great author who dipped their toes into dystopian predictions was Jules Verne. His work, Paris in the 20th Century, was prevented from being released by Verne's publisher and was completely forgotten until a copy was found in a safe by the author's great-grandson. It was finally seen by the world in 1994, where they got to witness Jules Verne's predictions of Paris in the 1960s. And funnily enough, a huge exhibition was actually carried out in the 1960s in Paris that covered Verne's remarkable predictions throughout all of his then known works at the time.
Astounding fulfillment of his prophecies, visitors exclaim at this exhibit in Paris of illustrations from the works of the father of modern science fiction, Jules Verne. From a schooner of his era, Jules Verne foresaw the 20th century liner as more than a ship, a floating town. Verne's amphibian vehicle associates in function with today's hovercraft. The author's Nautilus comes to life in the lines of modern submarines. Verne's own porthole was his imagination. The author's conception of a weapon of annihilation was revealed long before the atomic bomb became a reality. The rocket of Jules Verne's thinking bears close resemblance to those now seen at Cape Kennedy. A remarkable man, Jules Verne.
In his Lost novel, Verne managed to continue with his technological predictions by including a kind of fax machine. However, in Verne's Dystopia, the relentless rise of the machines have made literature obsolete. Literature is dead, my boy. Look at these empty rooms and these books buried in their dust. No one reads anymore. My boy, never speak of literature, never speak of art, accept the situation as it is. Fortunately, things never became quite as bad as that.